Hey, how we doing today? Another beautiful day. Today we're doing it a little bit different. Today we're switching it up a little bit. You know what I mean? No, I'm I'll do that. Yeah. Do something like that, yeah? Anyways, how we doing today? Doing good? Doing bad? Another beautiful day for me. Another beautiful day. Yes, sir. Got a little bit different of a schedule today. A little bit different of a setup. You're gonna see me a little bit differently, huh? Today should be a pretty relaxed, pretty chillax day. I hope I got everything set up okay for today. I hope. Let's see. Let's see. I think I got everything set up a-okay today. We just need to... I mean, we can decide that in a little while. Let's see. Cool. Yeah? Wait a couple minutes and maybe we'll start up this documentary, huh? Cool. Man. I did so much yesterday. I am tired as heck today, so I'm glad we're changing up the pace because I could not do puzzles today, honestly. Probably. I could probably not figure out puzzles in that accursed game. In that beautiful game, I should say. But, you guys ready to watch a documentary? Let's see. Let me just check on a few things real quick. What the heck? No clue what that's about. Why did all my colors change? What the heck? I'm gonna probably add more songs today to the playlist, so. Cool. I think I got all those out. Go over here. Let the other peeps know. I think some people are gonna be interested in this today, you know? Hold on. I gotta do a little bit of research now. I was just told about another puzzle game called The Witness. See, I've been looking for more puzzle games to play with y'all because it's been really fun playing puzzle games with y'all. And I just haven't really known what game to play. But I was just told The Witness is pretty good. So I'm gonna do a little bit of looking into it. Heyo, Reboots, how we doing today? How'd your math go? You still doing math again today, or was it just yesterday? Let's see. This looks interesting. Very vibrant, at the minimum. And I like that. I like vibrant. I like pretty things. I did it earlier today. It's like 9 p.m. where I am. Dang, it's late for you, huh? Today relaxation time is gonna be relaxation time. Heck yeah. Man, where are you at then? Cause that means you're 12 hours ahead of me? That means you're literally on the other side of the planet. Hold on a minute. And now I gotta guess. 12 hours, huh? 3. I know that's 9. It's a 12. You're probably either on the eastern side of the continent of Africa or somewhere like in the Middle East, potentially? Because I think from where I am, close enough, India. Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, Middle East, so then you would have been, okay, so technically you're part of the Asian continent. Wow, didn't even realize that was playing. Mabi. This is an interesting game. We might do this game at some point. The Witness looks kind of cool. So we'll definitely add this to the list of to be streamed. But you're in India, that's really cool. I didn't realize I was reaching all the way to India from where I'm at. Obviously, you can probably tell where I am. If you hadn't already guessed it. Let's see. Let's also look at Twitch and see what we can find about this game. The Witness. No, stop. That's not what I meant to type. The Witness. The Witness. Oh, interesting. Huh. We might stream that. I think you're French. You think I'm French? No, I am not. I'm not French. Well, technically you're not wrong. Technically you're not wrong. I am French, but I don't live in France, and technically I've never been to France. But I do have a little bit of French blood in me. Actually, a good portion of French blood in me. /S? What is that? Why are we /S'ing? My inner rainbow is always right. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. You did technically guess that I am French. However, that is... let's see. I think I'm like... I think it's one of the bigger portions of what I am, but it's not all I am. It means sarcasm. Oh, gotcha. Sarcasm. Okay. Fair enough. You got me with that one. No, if anything, weren't you the one who called me German yesterday? What's the other portions? So I'm French. I'm Irish. What else was I told? Because on my dad's side... Yeah, I think on my father's side, I'm French, Irish, and like Swedish. And I think on my mother's side, I'm Italian, French again, and I think there was a little bit of African blood, but I don't know what it was. It might have been like... I think it was like more North African, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it was. I don't know my mother very well, so... But yeah, I think I'm mainly like Italian, French, and Irish. Actually, I know for a fact I'm Italian, French, and Irish. A little bit of everything. Yes, I am definitely a mixed blood. If you were in the Harry Potter reverse, I'd be a mudblood. Very much so. But you're the one who called me German yesterday, okay? I think. So, what does that have to say? Cool. Just want to make sure that's running. Okay. But yeah, I guess yeah, I guess we can start the documentary, right? I don't know how the volume's gonna be, so we're gonna have to adjust it on the go. Let's see. We'll switch on over to this. Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. Absolutely perfect. Quite exquisite. Yes, thank you very much. Turn this up a little bit to like right here. And I guess we'll see how the volume is. How we looking? We looking good? Looking bad? So, looks like it's looking okay to me. Do that just so there's a little bit more on the screen. Cool. That looks good to me. How does that look good? How does that look to you? And yes, we are about to watch apparently a 51-minute documentary. We'll see how much we honestly get through it. The volume is fine as well. Volume seems fine? Okay, cool. We'll see how much I get through it because I am very scatterbrained. Might be the screen can be a little bit bigger, but everything is still visible. We can do that a little bit. Let's see. I do something like this. And then we go like this. How about that? Is that a little bit better? Perfect. Yes. Cool. Okay. So as I was saying, we'll see how much we get through it. I am a little sporadic. And as you may be able to tell, even when I'm playing a video game, I'm very all over the place. So we're gonna see how long we can go through this. But we're gonna try and watch this, and afterwards, if Beer makes it today, and maybe like Cat and something, and if they have some Easter eggs that they want me to go through, we're gonna go ahead and go through some Easter eggs in Outer Wilds that we may have missed along our journey. And then after that, we will, or maybe during that, we will discuss potentially our next game. Bro, same. I can't watch movies anymore because I'm so used to 20-minute increments. Yeah, so movies I'm typically okay with. Movies I'm typically okay with because if I'm watching a movie, it's something that I want to watch. And if I like really want to watch something and it's like I'm super interested, so you know, like a Star Wars movie or like it's I don't know, if it's like some like the new horror movie Sinners. I'm so interested in watching it. So I could like easily sit down and watch something. So if I'm like super interested, I can sit down and watch something. But otherwise, it's really hard for me to sit down and just like watch something. Unless it's like an anime because it's only 15-20 minutes at a time. Unless it's a YouTube video that I can kind of pause and stop and whatever here and there. And like I get this is a YouTube video, but this is more of like a documentary, so it's more like movie film-esque. But yeah, so we'll see how we can get through this. I'm probably gonna be talking during this at points, and yeah, so that's the plan. We're going to sit here, we're gonna watch this, We'll see how much we get through it, and then after that, we'll probably do some Outer Wilds Easter eggs if beer and stuff makes it. And after that point, I don't know. I don't really have much of a plan. Hey, Katzen! Speak of the devil, I was just talking about you. In a good way, I swear. Don't tell her otherwise, please, reboot. But how are we doing today, Cat? Oh, also, gonna be super honest, filled up on water before this, and like I said, since I can't sit still and pay attention, did we finish the DLC yesterday? We absolutely did. There is a VOD on Twitch that you can go watch if you want, as well as I've been taking all of the YouTube videos, or all of the videos, and exporting them over to YouTube. Oh, I was gonna say, see, this is already my scatterbrain. I made popcorn, because I want a snack while we watch something. Oh, you guys can't even see it because it's behind the screen. It's my secret stash of snack that you don't know about. Never mind. Um, but yes, we did finish it. I've been exporting all of the videos or all of the VODs over to YouTube, and I have a friend who is actually wanting to help me edit and stuff. So we're going to eventually be breaking up the videos and uploading my entire playthrough onto YouTube. So if you're interested in seeing all of my crazy shenanigans, it will be up on YouTube at some point. I just don't have a time frame at the moment. But yes, that's kind of the you know. Thank you. You know, I've been trying to put some stuff in the works. I've got a couple people who said that we're gonna try and team this up, and eventually I'm gonna get Twitter up and running. We're gonna get YouTube up and running, and I'm gonna be starting to put playthroughs on there. We're gonna have Twitch up and running and a little bit better. Eventually I'm probably going to start clipping a lot of these things and taking some of like the funny moments, like when I say something like yesterday where what was it? I think I was like, "Oh, this isn't going to happen," or whatever, and then like it instantly happened. Or like, "Oh, he won't notice me," and then he instantly killed me. Um we're going to be taking some funny moments. We're going to be clipping that up, and we'll be even doing like little short videos and TikToks and whatever, so it'll be fun. I also saw a summary of EOL cuz I was so damn confused. Huh? I'm lost. You have officially stumped me. What are we? My brain. EOL. What is EOL? EOL. I don't know. What are we talking about? I meant EOE. Sorry, bro. I'm still lost. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what we're talking about. Echoes of the Eye. Ah. Mm. Right. Right. That makes so much sense. That's my bad. Um, Yesterday we actually learned like everything about Echoes of the Eye. So yeah, if you're interested, the VOD, if you go, I'm sure you could just kind of speed through some of the VOD, and go to where we actually like hit the end. I kind of manually process like everything that happened, and I kind of explain a little bit too. So we did figure that out yesterday. It was super cool. We enjoyed it a lot. Kat was here, and Kat was Kat Cat was here. They enjoyed it. Beer enjoyed it. We all enjoyed it together, with no emotions, right? Right, Cat? Giving gentle nudges. Hey, hey, hey! We don't talk about this. I did it. I, I did it. Hey, I showed Beer the cat Easter egg, even though Beer knew everything. Don't tell him that. Feldspar would be very confused. Yeah, yeah. Feldspar doesn't give a shit. Feldspar did not care. He Feldspar just wants to go on another adventure. He wants more monsters to conquer, evade, outsmart. I don't know. He literally says he wants more monsters though in the next life. But yeah. You guys ready to start this? Cause I am. I know I'm ready to start this. He should have bought the DLC. Can't do it. Fair enough. Let's begin. Alright, let's do it. Let me know if the volume is like too high, too low. I can always change it on
Hello there, traveler. Please come, sit down, rest your weary legs, grab a marshmallow. I've got a story to tell.
Today we take a look at the design of Outer Wilds, an award-winning critical hit which has been slowly building a cult following since its release in May of 2019.
This is really a game that's best played without knowing anything about it, so at a certain point we're going to hit pause and let those of you who have yet to experience Outer Wilds an opportunity to get off. But before we get to that stage, it's probably about time we talked about the unique origins of this game.
Outer Wilds was designed by a small studio in Los Angeles called Mobius Digital Games, but years before, it started out as a student project. Alex Beecham was completing his master's thesis at the University of Southern California. His thesis project would be a game that attempted to break new design ground, while pulling in several disparate ideas from some old student prototypes.
That's cool. So here,
we
like,
wanted to make
from the
a
beginning,
game
he knew what he wanted.
where you're exploring a world as it changes over time in like really dramatic ways, just to get away from the idea that game environments are these static things. It works well with space exploration, of course. Wanted to make something where you fly a spaceship around, and to get to that feeling of it's super, it's dangerous. You really shouldn't be in space. Really wanted to do Newtonian flight mechanics, where you're like just drifting with your ship and the planets are hurtling around the sun. And then the other part of the really core part of the thesis was the idea that make a game where the only reason for players to explore is to sort of satiate their own curiosity. It is inspired by this part in The Wind Waker where there's this like photographer and he has an art gallery. And you can talk to him about the paintings he's put up on the wall, and they're all actual photos taken from real locations in the game. And it's cool because you see a photo and you're like, wow, I wonder what this weird statue is. And he will like tell you where he took the photo. And so if you're curious, you can go check it out. But the game isn't telling you to do that. Outer Wilds in some ways was a response to Skyward Sword, because I'm a huge Zelda fan, and Skyward Sword is emblematic of just all of the things that I just pain me to see the Zelda series doing. And it goes with the space exploration theme, where we wanted to make a space exploration game where the reason you're exploring space is to learn about the world and to gain knowledge and not like to conquer planets. Our ideal version of real world space exploration, more in the vein of 2001 Apollo 13. The things we learned at USC was like the value of playtesting, the fact that no matter what you do, you're going to put it in front of somebody and it's going to break immediately. I went there along with Loan Verneau, who was the other designer on Outer Wilds. We were in the same class together. Our favorite classes, I know, for us were the ones that kind of let you do it, like you do a project like thesis prep, you kind of go off and do something maybe on a prompt, but then you all get together and you sort of talk about and critique each other's projects. We had a class at the USC, the Master's Interactive Media Master's Program. It was called World Building. I don't even remember what the assignment prompt. We just had to like build a thing, build a world or whatever. And it's just like, I wonder if I can like make a spaceship that flies in Unity. Was sort of, and I got it working. It's just like a little like physics box. You walk inside of it and walk around, go to a cockpit and like lift off and fly around, just like a terrain height map. What would spherical planets like Mario Galaxy style, but maybe a bit bigger in first person be like? And I made a planet that was bombarded by meteors and broke apart. And
so these things were
a bunch of asteroids with mushrooms on them and a lighthouse in the fog with these big anglerfish. And then in the thesis prep, we had this prompt called do something with the uncertainty principle. And that led to this prototype of there's the cabin and all these trees and they would move when you looked away and just sort of shift around. And then there was this other project where you flew a bunch of these little model rockets and then had to get into a big rocket. And the idea was that once you've played, even though it's all virtual, once you've played with like the small version of it, the real version feels dangerous. And so that was like just a one-off thing. There was one where you threw a probe and had a video. So just like all these different ideas
So literally
that sort of just
all
got
of
duct
these
taped
things
together. And then the final one I
were
think that really
literally
mattered
from
was
the beginning.
this was because the point of this class was to sort of figure out what we wanted to do with our thesis. And I just pretty much couldn't let that spaceship from the previous class go, even though it was sort of like silly. It's just like we're supposed to be doing stuff that like kind of pushes the medium or whatever. And I'm just like, I just want to play with the spaceship. But one of my colleagues, Simon Wiscombe, was like, you should make an emotional prototype, because I was struggling with sort of like, what is this going to be? And so instead of doing all this mechanical stuff, I made this quick prototype where you roast a marshmallow over a fire, and then you're on a little planet and the sun explodes. And you just sort of sit there, and it's like a fireworks show. It was like very rough, but it was still like kind of pretty. And then, you know, all the planets went out one by one, and then finally it hits you. At the end of thesis, we had the solar system. We had the planets conceptually as they are now. Some of them changed somewhat, but that's more or less the version that was at IGF in 2015.
And the award for excellence in design goes to Outer Wilds.
Dang, so literally all the ideas that he had and that he created in these like little mini classes, he just put
when we
into
started
the
Outer
game.
Wilds, we just wanted to make something where the only point of exploring was to learn more about the world, and there would be no objectives, there would be no missions, and we just weren't sure people would be into it. So thank you for being curious to explore this janky world we created. And a big thanks to the USC Games program, the Laguna College of Art and Design, and Atlantic University College. Clearly
agree
could
with
not
that
have done it
review.
without any of them.
I
Yeah,
remember
he
sitting at
literally just
GDC because I was at
like, "Oh, I just
GDC
wanna
at
play with the
IGF that year,
spaceship," and then
I like saw
create
Outer
all of
Wilds
this.
winning
Like, that's
the Excellent
crazy.
in Design Award, and I was just like, this game doesn't look very good. I'm like, what's up with this weird student project winning all these awards? I could make better art than that. And so then when I heard about the job, I was like, I could make better art than that. I guess I'll play the alpha build that's free on the internet. And then it was 4 in the morning, and I was trying to get to the center of Dark Bramble, and I was like, okay, I have to work on this game. And then 2 weeks later, I moved here and worked on it.
All right,
Literally,
the
he was just in
2015
college. He's like,
Seamus
dude,
McNally
I want
Grand
to play with the
Prize
spaceship
goes
and
to
fly around to different planets and just explore
Outer
the world.
Wilds.
And just this project became bigger than him almost immediately. He had one friend
Thank
who wanted
you
to help
so
him,
much. This
and then
is
he went to different.
insane, and I'm just tremendously grateful that for the team,
He went to like different
for all of their hard work,
departments
all of our
and different
crazy
people
players,
and, like,
and people who
learned
traded
about
stories on the internet.
physics
Thank
and
you
their,
for exploring and just
astronomy
everything.
and learned
Thank you.
these different things, and they all started like pitching in just
Usually
like
a story
little
like this would
ideas.
end when somebody won an award, but the timeline of Outer Wilds doesn't exactly follow a straight path. Winning the IGF did change everything for Alex. Suddenly he found himself at the helm of a game that a bunch of people wanted to fund and publish. But we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, so let's rewind.
After he'd left school,
Right, like
Alex
that one
went to
guy, he
work
was like,
on
"Oh, I
Project
can make better
Spark
art,"
in
and then he's like,
Seattle,
"Wait,
but had returned to
no,
LA to work
literally,
at a new
I could
studio
help
founded
and
by his
make it
former
better."
classmate Loan and a surprising benefactor. Actor and producer Masaoka was interested in starting a video game studio. Before his breakthrough role in Heroes, he had worked at ILM, creating visual effects for movies, including the Star Wars prequels. He had approached the head of the department at USC about hiring one of their students. Loan was recommended, and the two founded Mobius.
I think
Found the
he's always
portfolio
been,
of the art
a very
design
creative
of
person,
Outer
and
I
video
don't want
games were
to
always a big
distract
part
from
of
this,
his
but
life.
check
I
that
know he
out
was
too.
a
Very
huge
cool stuff.
World of Warcraft player.
We can definitely
he cares
look
very
into
much
that.
about the team itself and our work culture and the way we collaborate and that sort of stuff. So it's been really great.
In the early days, Mobius worked on mobile games like Terra Chroma and Beacon 38, and after a few months in Seattle, Alex moved back to join the team. His side project, Outer Wilds, wasn't part of the Mobius portfolio, but after his success at IGF, it had made sense for the entire team to focus on it. Alex signed a deal with Massey to bring it in-house. They hired Wesley as art director and attempted to secure more funding by being the first game to launch a FIG campaign. The original idea was to give them an extra year to polish this version of the game and to get it out the door. But this loop didn't exactly go according to plan. During this year, they were approached by Annapurna about publishing the game, but Annapurna didn't want a flipped student project. They wanted the best possible version of Outer Wilds. So after a year of work, most of the art had to be redone, but this extra time also allowed much of the more interesting elements of story and world building to be added to the game.
Early on, there was the idea for the structure of the game is that we're going to have these 4 major
all
secret
of those
locations.
details, like Feldspar,
They were
inside
each
of the
going
Dark
to
Brand,
answer
like,
a
he had
major
all that
question about
already?
the world that we were going to try to get players curious about, and then everything else in the world was going to point to those. And each curiosity, I think, was going to have about 3 sort of connecting clues. The idea was the clues would point to each other and also point to the curiosity and have the clues. And that structure's like sort of still there, but we added a bunch of other like clues, pointing to, it got more complicated.
Friends, we've reached a fork in the road. If you have yet to play Outer Wilds, then this is your opportunity to get off.
Hit subscribe, smash that like button, close your browser, and boot up your favorite video game machine. We're going to try and skirt around solutions and some of those bigger reveals, but as a general rule, we're entering the spoiler dimension here, so you've been warned.
Ready? All right.
What do you mean?
Let's meet the planets.
I do remember it was early in thesis year. I wish I had a picture of it, but I just remember like there was a whiteboard and I just like started drawing just ideas on the whiteboard and then just circling like 5 or 6 of them. And one was the Hourglass Twins. One was just like a bunch of thorns stuck together. And Brittle Hollow was sort of from that world building assignment, like meteors hitting a planet that breaks apart. One was a gas giant, but just like conceptually, not like the way it is in the game. Oh, and then a comet, just because we're like, elliptical orbits are cool. Look cool on the map. Let's throw a comet in. Maybe if it gets near the sun, we can do something with heat.
The joke we always make about Outer Wilds is it's the game you're not supposed to make, because like the way you do nice lighting in games is by static objects that don't move. Everything in Outer Wilds is always moving. The way you like make games is on a grid in Maya. Everything in Outer Wilds is on a sphere. Any like thing you expect out of game development, we just kind of had to throw away and figure it out. And so each planet had like its own weird problems to solve, where it's like, you know, we think we figured out how to make the terrain on Timber Hearth, and then you go to the Hourglass Twins and it just doesn't work at all.
Huh.
When Wesley
yeah,
applied for the job at
makes
Mobius,
sense.
he had a few
This
things
is the way
going
that
for
they're
him.
designed.
He had worked on a number of
The way
large
that
projects,
the
including EverQuest,
world is
Microsoft
completely
Flight,
different.
and HoloLens. But before he worked in game development, Wesley spent his youth growing up in the Santa Cruz Mountains on a
That's crazy
campground surrounded by redwoods.
How
So when it came to
good the
creating
game
striking
runs,
visuals for each of the planets, he knew exactly
for how
where to
each
pull
thing is
inspiration
made
from.
completely
Early on,
separately
we
and differently
decided to
with a
reference
different
national parks.
idea and
Timber Hearth
concept
is a
and engine.
combination of Yellowstone and Sequoia National Park, and a little bit of Mount Rainier too, because on the surface you kind of have like the alpine trees. Brittle Hollow, we looked at like Greenland and Iceland, like the basalt rock stuff, which at the time there was like no games that did that, and then every game that's come out in the last 10 years has had that environment in it. Giant's Deep is probably the least based on an actual park. It's sort of loosely inspired by like the Santa Cruz like beach cliffs where I grew up.
And then our friend Dark Bramble.
You know, it's your friendly neighborhood plant.
That is not your friendly
The stage
neighborhood
was
planet.
set. Mobius had established
No.
its solar system. 6 unique worlds locked in a celestial fire circle the player would dance again and again. Each of these worlds was designed to be unique, and so each
Screw
of them
him.
was a unique design challenge.
friendly
The
neighborhood
clock is
planet?
ticking here,
No.
folks, but I still think we have enough time to take a trip around the solar system.
The first one we did after the Fig campaign was Timber Hearth. We worked on the village, which shouldn't have been the first thing that we did because it's one of the most complex areas in the game.
Oh,
I think
really?
we remade the village about 6 times throughout development. The village was sort of like we would keep coming back around to it every time we would improve the art style. It's like, all right, how can we make the village better again? We need to like fix all these things because, you know, playtests would show that people weren't finding the right tutorials.
There were a lot of problems with that version of the village, but people also just weren't excited to go into space because everyone they were talking to was like, why would you do that? Why would you go explore the cosmos? Really early on, they were like kind of antagonistic about the idea of going into space. It was like, okay, we're gonna make, the player's gonna be the one who's like excited to go into space and everyone else is like, don't do it. Like, oh, this is having the opposite effect. And so Kelsey and I talked and came up with the idea of, okay, you're the newest astronaut in the space program, your village has a space program, people actually want to do this stuff. It's a bit quirky, but we're going to get you excited about space by having everyone else on some level be excited about space.
The last version of the writing for Hornfels.
That was a good idea because I kind of definitely felt that during when I was playing.
The launch code, and he's also the only mandatory conversation.
Because like every person was like, "Man,
and,
you get to go to space. You're so
things
lucky.
like
I want to go. I want to go. I want to go."
option
Like,
to
yeah,
ask what
I
their
get to go
mission
to space.
was,
I'm gonna be
or
the
where to go
astronaut. I
next.
definitely
And
felt
then
that.
He
Yeah.
would go like, "Yeah, it's up to you." And what we ended up with
You can still
instead
see this a bit.
was we reversed it. You as a player. What do you want to do
Guy
next?
is a bit grumpy
That ended
about
up
the space
really
program.
working.
Right,
and, like,
right.
surprisingly well. And because you have, it's a selection. We gave them a few ideas too, right? It's like if they didn't know what to do, we still gave like, yeah, there are some things you could be interested in.
Giant's Deep was originally just going to be a gas giant. It wasn't going to have an ocean, but we wanted there to be islands like floating in the sky. But we were like, how are we going to get islands? Like, why? Like, how are we going to get that to work physics-wise? Also, like, just conceptually. And we're like, well, maybe there are 2 layers of fluids of different densities. And it's like, well, one could just be water. Oh, it's an ocean planet. Then we're going to toss them up with tornadoes because we can do that.
Ah, yes. Yeah, then we're just gonna yeet them out into the space with tornadoes because we can do that. Right.
My favorite planet is Giant's Deep, just because I love storms. Like I was really into tornado movies when I was a kid and that kind of stuff. So getting to make these giant tornadoes was a lot of fun for me.
We have the fluid system, which is like pretty simple, but it's a student project. You just sort of take the things you have and just reuse them over and over again. And so we use the fluid system for the geysers, for the sand funnel on Hourglass Twins, for the water on Giant's Deep, for the tornadoes on Giant's Deep. It's just us reusing like the same idea. We're just gonna like take a force and fling something to sort of lean into the idea that it's just all these pieces moving around and you're just caught in the storm.
Right.
Yeah, Dark Bramble
that's
is sort of a
so
weird case. The
interesting that
challenges
these
there were
ideas
very
just came
different.
to them so
The biggest
quickly.
challenge was just the scale of Dark Bramble. Because when you fly in, like, it's covered in fog, so you can't tell, but those environments, like, they're just huge in comparison to anywhere else in the solar system.
It was largely motivated that we wanted at least one of the planets to be a zero-G environment. And obviously there was something very large that we had to hide inside Dark Bramble. The planets in the game are like not that big. And we just embrace the idea of these sort of dimensional pockets that you fly through because it works really well with the lights.
Dark Bramble has ice around it. It's like, all right, easy, just make some ice. Well, it needs to look specifically like Dark Bramble ice, so when you see it on a different planet, you'd be like, hey, that's some stuff from Dark Bramble. I can't just make it look like ice because you use the ice-looking ice over here on like on the Comet or on like on Brittle Hollow or stuff like that. So it's like, okay, how can I make this ice still look like ice, but look different from this other ice?
I see what you did there, Cat. Cat. Yeah, they must have been wild, huh?
Binary planet seemed cool, and just the idea that something could transfer from one to the other over. Because we're just looking for ways that we can change things over time, ideally in a way that is like easy for us. And I remember originally it was like, oh, it could be like water flowing between the two.
I don't know, but I also feel like the
and then
idea
sand
would
just
come
seemed-
so
just
naturally.
couldn't
It was
resist
like,
the
oh, it's
idea
gonna be a
that,
gas giant.
of you getting closed into
And
these space,
then
just knowing you're
We're
like, oh
talking
my
about
god,
the floating
I'm trapped,
islands,
I'm
and
going
like,
to die
how is it gonna
horrible death.
float?
Just
Wouldn't it be
was too good to
multiple layers?
pass up.
Oh,
In the final
water.
release,
That makes
the
sense. Like
tech
it just
and the art
the way it
teams
floats.
did some really cool stuff to make it look more complicated than a sphere getting bigger and a sphere getting smaller, but that's like all it is.
You know, we think we figured out how to make the terrain on Timber Hearth, and you go to the Hourglass Twins and it just doesn't work at all. And so we had to come up with a different strategy there. And so each planet had that. And for the Hourglass Twins, it was that it's full of caves. And so, as I mentioned before, you have 2 different curvatures at the different heights of a planet. And for the Ember Twin, you have caves that slope from one of those to the other. So not only do you have 2 different curvatures, but you have a ramp that has to match one curvature at the top of the ramp and a different curvature at the bottom of the ramp. And then, you know, you got to put all the props in there and make it feel good to move on. So it's just like a compoundingly difficult thing to do.
Oh, I bet.
We didn't have it in the alpha, but we had the idea for it melting. And then Lowen was the one who did the first pass on it. And then at some point, I went and did a pass on the surface and came up with the idea, because the Comet wasn't that fun to navigate, just moving around on it, because there's not that much there. And it's like, well, what if the ice, if you can just like slide on the ice? Like, is that too goofy? Like, is that totally
That was so
dissonant
fun.
with what you learn in the
Being able to
Comet?
just, No, I think it was a perfect amount of goofy. It was fun just like sliding around on the ice.
The hardest planet we often referred to as the final boss for the art team was Brittle Hollow, because it's the biggest planet because it has both an outside and an inside surface. It's one of the biggest planets just in terms of diameter, and then it's one of the most complex in terms of level design and pathing and, you know, all these different things that need to go there, like 2 giant Nomai cities. It was like the hardest for every discipline of the game, design, tech, art, like for everyone it was the final boss.
Brittle Hollow was originally like had a molten core. There was no black hole. And the pieces, I believe the pieces, like when they got hit, they were going to get jettisoned away from the planet. And at some point, it's just like, this doesn't actually make any sense. Like, why are they drifting away from gravity? Like, okay, can we make them fall in? How would we, like, where are they going to go? They're just going to like, okay, there's a black hole and it spits them out over here. I remember prototyping a version of that and then like changing my mind and being like, no, this is too much. It's like too crazy and weird. And like, it's not as colorful because like the black hole's all dark. Let's just like go back to the molten core and we'll add geysers that like from the core that heat water, and the geysers shoot these pieces of the crust off into space. And then at some point it was just like, nope, the black hole thing was cool, let's go back to that. And then weirdly the geysers ended up on Timber Hearth, and the idea of pieces getting thrown into space ended up on Giant's Deep.
Right.
It was like hard to tune the pieces falling at the right time because it's a simulation. They have hit points and they get hit by meteors and they fall, and it's not scripted in the sense of like it happens in a specific pattern. It took a long time for design to like lock it, and then art had to go in and, you know, just fill it out. And there's just so many rocks on that planet, just thousands and thousands of rocks. And we put all those there by hand. It's not like procedural. So we make sure that you can see in the right places and that it feels good to walk on and all of that. And then with that planet, you also have to make sure that like in between the crevices, you know, you can't fall through in some places, but you can fall through in others where you're supposed to. Pretty much any challenge that you can have, we did have there. And there's all the normal Outer Wilds problems of you have curved surfaces with different curvature based on where you are on the planet, which is not something that a lot of games have to deal with.
It was supposed to be a bit overwhelming at first, right? Because you arrive in a city and it adds to the whole feeling of wonder when you arrive in a new place and it's like, oh my god, there's so much. Each district has like one main piece of content. The first thing you would find when entering the district. Like another one of the district, you arrive and there's a big waterfall that sort of like frames 3 white, we call them Nomai whiteboards, but there's only one of them has text on it. So you're like, okay, I probably need to find the other 2 somewhere, right? So the first thing players see or the first thing player experience should give them a question. And then like the natural impulse is like if the player has a question in their mind, hopefully by then they go, okay, let me answer that question.
That is such a great, a good gaming philosophy to have. Like, give the players something to want to do. Don't tell the player what to do, give them something that they want to do, and they'll do it. Right? If you tell someone to do something, they may begrudgingly do it, but it's not like they really want to. But if you raise a question and you make them want to do it, then they will do it almost every time. Wow, that is such a... The way they crafted this game is insane.
Mobius had made an entire solar system for the player to explore, but this solar system didn't have any explicit objectives, mission markers, or fast travel. So how did they let the player know where to go? And more importantly, how did they let players know when they had accidentally found something important?
We didn't want players to go look behind every tree and every rock and in every nook and cranny. So what he made sure of was that detail would always only be where content was. So like if you look at Timber Hearth, you have like vast expanse of grass on the surface, and it's just grass, nothing there. And then each of the actual craters with content have incredible visual density of detail.
It was like a challenge of like
catches
trying
your
to
eye and you're
stick
like,
as
"What is
close to
that?"
the gray
And
box
there
as
is
possible.
something there.
Because like every time
But
I was
if
like,
it's
oh,
not
I'll
like,
put like
"Oh, what's
I'll put
that?"
like a nice
then
little
there's
tree
nothing
over
there,
here,
really.
or like a pot, or like some sort of thing, and then like the designers would look at it and be like, oh, like actually there's like this very specific like viewpoint. You need to be able to see this clue that's like across this chasm. So if you put too much stuff though, you block the view, and it's like, oh god.
Lighting as well sometimes, just like if you keep everything relatively dark or like same tones and then put a bright blue or something light there, and it's like immediately you notice that. Audio as well, like there's the traveling music when you're traveling around, and then there's music when you're in places with content. So like if you enter a Know My Rune, suddenly piano starts coming in and you hear the music coming in. And so it's all this little subtle clue. If you don't have that instinct, there's something here, there's not something here. Because of the way we structured the game, it is very easy to hide things. We wanted certain paths to be the first path you use, just from a narrative perspective. It was a nicer way to find that place. But then we wanted quick shortcuts to get to back to these places. And we're all worried about how would we hide these, and like had all these, and it's like, no, it's because we trained the players to not look behind any nook and cranny. We learned a lot of things in relationship to player, the way people perceive things and the way, players naturally go about it. Some of it was frustrating, like the natural impulse to see text as lore was definitely something we had to fight against. The natural impulse that most players have to need a goal. Hopefully more and more games do away with that, and so I'm hoping that slowly it'll be easier actually to do the sort of things we did in Outer Wilds, as people get more like willing to set their own goals and get a bit more proactive in trying to read things as a way to progress.
Outer Wilds is such a complex design challenge that it's easy to forget the technical complexity of the project. While Alex and Loan led the design team, the game's engineering was led by another duo. Technical artist Logan Verhoef had
So
graduated CS
they-
Games at US Santa Cruz and was a year behind Alex and Lohan at USC, while software engineer
The
Jeffrey Yu
time,
had
dedication,
graduated
and the
USC as an aerospace
craftfulness
engineer
of them
with a
is
minor
insane.
in computer science.
So technical
Like,
art is writing
they
shaders
knew
that
what
run on
they
the
wanted to do.
GPUs. So like, as well as setting up particle systems and setting up lighting and that sort of thing. So I did a bunch of math that makes the singularities look like they do. I did a bunch of math that made our lighting work the way it does. A lot of tools work. Half the gameplay code.
Base other than the designers, it's just the two of us doing all the code. So
yeah.
So
This
these
is
are the
Timber
two
Hearth.
people that
This
made
is
the game
what
run
it
how
actually
it runs.
looks like
That's insane.
in our scene.
That's
There's
super
like
cool.
the moon over here.
So how do you work on this, considering it's like a sphere? Like how do you get in and
I
mess
mean,
with stuff?
if you just learn how to sort of work like that. So we're actually looking straight up right now, but you just because flying around still works the same.
Right.
You just learn to sort of work in this weird way. Sometimes people work like this or something or that. At any time I'm working on the underside of a planet, I have to do this sort of kick flip here. And now right and left is reversed.
Oh no.
But I remember that I'm in this mode, so I'm just automatically like, okay. Each planet is a rigid body, like a physically simulated object moving through space affected by forces. And so is everything else, everything in the game is. If we were a different game, we could get away with saying you know what, we'll just fudge it, we'll just fake it when you're on this planet and it'll look right. But because Outer Wilds is a game about simulation and about truth in systems, that was top of my list for things I didn't want to do.
So they
fake anything.
put the time and the
That
effort
is
and the
one of those
work
things where
essentially
we
to
try
make
to
it the
try
real
to just
game,
tighten
not
it. We
just
reduce the number of
it
colliders
just
on the
works
planet.
like
We
that.
reduce the complexity
Instead,
of
they
them
actually made
while
it
still
work
having
like
it be a surface you can walk around on. So if this coffee cup were a physics object, the rendering mesh has all this detail and curvature and all this in it. Physics could probably just be like a 8-sided cylinder, and that's enough. You can fly around, hit the wall, bounce off, roll around.
maybe even make it just a four-sided one.
Yeah, if you don't need it to roll, four-sided, if the player's just walking into it. So going in and finding places to cut back here and trim a little bit there is good. A lot of people wonder, like, hey, are they like faking all the caves inside planets?
Is the zero-G cave, it's literally zero-G because it's in the middle of the planet?
Yes, yeah, because you're no longer being attracted to like the sum of all the mass. Now you're there and all the mass is around you. And so it's all pulling on you equally in each direction. So this is actually physically correct. If you leave a planet, we do a bunch of stuff to optimize it while you're not there. We switch to like a super low res version of the planet, you know, handmade by like Lara or someone else.
Colliders.
Yeah, turn off a bunch of the collision so we aren't updating all this collision math while there's nothing there to collide with. We suspend a bunch of scripts and a bunch of objects. The issue is that if you leave your ship on a planet and you go somewhere else,
awesome. I assume the same
it still needs to collide with stuff.
Right?
And furthermore, for this philosophy of like the truth in the system, if there's a geyser going off and
the
it should be
amount
hitting
of
that
work
ship,
to just
it
get
needs to
the
keep hitting
physics
that ship.
right is insane.
If the sand
because
level's
everything
rising,
in this game
it's like trapped
has
underneath
like its
something, it
own
needs to
different
respond to that.
physical
That means
prospect to it.
we have to keep all the collision and scripts running when the ship is left on a planet. When you leave a probe on a planet, you need to be able to take snapshots of it from across the solar system, which means all the rendering, all the visuals need to be turned on.
And if you have it right next to a geyser, the geyser has to go off.
So in a way,
the
it
worst
still
thing
does
you can
run
possibly do in
on
that
a
game
system.
is have the scout, yourself, and the ship all on different planets. And if you really want to go hard, I put the Nomai shuttle on a fourth. But like, don't do that. It's because we have to render at least some of what's going on. Like if you leave your ship on Brittle Hollow and a piece breaks, your ship needs to go through the black hole and get spit out the white hole. If you leave it on Ash Twin, we need your ship to get sucked up by the sand funnel, even if you're halfway across, you got teleported to Giant's Deep or something. And that was really important to us. We tried really, really hard, and the tech team kind of worked really hard to make sure we didn't lose the sense that this is a world that doesn't revolve around you. Because that was one of the main design pillars. It's like not a player, it's not supposed to feel like a player-centric game. The world doesn't stop simulating just because you're elsewhere, right?
At one point, we thought about making this an achievement, but then thought better of it.
Oh, no, we didn't think better of it. Annapurna got miffed at us because one of our suggested achievements was called a critical performance hit, and it was leave your ship on one planet and your probe on another and go to a third. And they were like, you cannot have an achievement be the player crashing their PlayStation or Xbox. Like, no, absolutely. Are you insane? And we're like, yes,
we're
but
purposely making people get
good
frame
point.
drops.
Yeah, it's like, don't encourage people to do this. And we're like, okay,
That's actually hilarious.
you're right, but
Let's make an achievement
not
to
as
make them
fun.
crash
Like
their
everything in this
game.
world is moving, right? I guess the sun is maybe the only object
I
that's
really
not
want to try that at some
technically-
point. Honestly, I kind of want to
Because
try
the way
it.
we, with video games, you got to keep the camera near the center of the world's coordinate space.
Okay.
Or you start running into floating point error and everything starts kind of jittering. And so we have to keep the player near the mathematical
I want to
origin
do
of
this
the
now,
world.
honestly.
And the way we do that in this game, a lot of games sort of, like you reach a threshold and they like reload the next zone, right? But because ours, everything's moving relative to each other, what I ended up doing back when it was a student project is just every time we apply a force to the player, we just apply an opposite force to every physics object in the world that's currently simulating. And it doesn't actually really do anything to performance because we're already doing that, right? We're already applying forces to every object because everything's moving. It's just another number on top of numbers. So when you jump in Outer Wilds, technically every planet's jumping out from under you, and you're more or less not moving. So it works, and we haven't changed it.
There's some like cosmic horror about that or something.
Yeah.
There's some like science, that's like, it makes me recoil a little bit hearing that.
I love it that because we're always like, oh yeah, and the player's not the center of the world, but technically you are. Like literally the center of the world at all times.
That's why everything moves how it does. So that's why
Like the
why
best
the camera kind of
sci-fi,
flips
Outer Wilds
and
marries the
does
technical
weird
with
stuff
the
sometimes
emotional,
because
and a
you're
large part
actually
of
the
this heavy
center
lifting
point,
is done by
and
the
everything
narrative
else just
and
moves
musical score.
away
For
in
the story, Alex
accordance
turned to
to
his
you. So you're
lifelong
actually the
collaborator,
gravity
his sister
point,
Kelsey.
and things
As
just
children,
move
they
to
made
or
silly
away
plays
from
together
you.
and stop-motion mock-ups of the Star Wars films
Oh, that's
starring
crazy.
Beanie Babies. Kelsey had been writing her entire life and had often used a
So
tangential
that's why
form of
everything
note-taking,
works.
which inspired the Nomai whiteboards. I was eager to talk to her about
That's
the wonderful
insane.
personalization of the Nomai using these interplanetary telephone logs. But unfortunately, she doesn't live in the same state as the studio,
Right.
so we did the next best thing and named our
But that
scout
actually
across the
makes a
country
lot of
at
sense,
North
'cause
Carolina.
The whole time I was playing the game, I was like, man, this feels different than everything else I play. Like, this feels
Some of them are like
different.
literally just meeting notes. It's like, here's what we decided, and someone
The
else
way
is like,
you
oh yeah,
turn,
by
like,
the
even
way,
when you're in your
so-and-so
shuttle and you
wants
go
to
to
do
turn
this
your
other
shuttle
thing.
or rotate
so
it,
having kind
the
of
way
a
that
rationale
it
behind why these things
works,
are getting written
it
down
always
and
felt like
explained,
I was
to
the center
me
point.
just
It
kind
never
of
felt
added a
like
sense of
the
logic
object
to what was going on.
that I was
a little
looking
less
at, that I was
difficult
moving
to
around. It
explain
always
things
felt like,
because
you know, it
they're
always
talking
felt
to each other. They
different.
need, you know,
It always
everyone to
felt like
understand
I was
what's going
doing
on.
something different. I was
For
like,
how
man,
much
this
Outer
it
Wilds
just
is a
feels
very
different.
narrative-driven
Now
game.
I understand.
I actually really love very character-driven writing, and a lot of my writing is like that. It's very intensely about characters and about their evolutions, and I think that's kind of what.
That's also why the way
difference- I
momentum
felt like
works
that was
in
what
this
was going
game.
to be the difference
Why
between
you can absolutely
having an
just
interesting story
book
with
it
interesting
somewhere because you're
characters
actually not
versus the
booking it
more
somewhere. Everything else is
tropey,
booking it towards
ancient
you.
alien civilization.
So like
was
when
here
you're flying
before us
really
and is
fast in
smarter than we
space,
are.
that's why it's really
But
hard to
what
slow down because
essentially
you're
the
not
player is
actually slowing down.
doing is
You're at
they're
that point trying to slow down the
tracing
entire
the same
solar
journey
system.
that the Nomai took.
Oh, that
and then
makes so much
eventually,
more
spoiler alert,
sense.
toward the end of the game, you're, you know, finishing that journey. And to really feel like you were connecting with the Nomai, I don't think people really connect with like a civilization as a whole. So I think it necessarily had to be very character driven, which was terrifying because yeah, you don't see these characters, and also
That's also
I
why
had
the
very
autopilot works
small
like it
chunk
works.
Of text to work with.
That's actually an Easter egg
most of it had
from
to
the
be
development team
dedicated
then.
toward quickly advancing a complex
Because
story.
if you're
And
flying
then
into the
also,
sun, they can't program
getting
you not
across
flying
your
into
clues,
the sun,
and then of course the
because
clues work as,
then that would require
you know,
too many
here's what's
numbers to
happened,
make you
here's
go
kind of the
around
next
the
piece,
sun,
here's where you
because
should
you
go to
wouldn't be
continue
going around it. They'd
chronologically
have
in
to
the
force
story,
the
and then
sun
there's
to
a
go
little piece
around
that
you,
directs usually
which would be
backward
really
of,
hard
like,
to do. So
here's
that's
where I
actually a
go to
little
check
Easter
out
egg.
where this piece came from if you want to
Because
trace
you fly
the
into the
opposite
sun,
direction
because
chronologically.
the
And then it
objects are
usually
moving in
connects into
accordance
other
to
things
you, not
depending
you
on who
moving
the
in accordance
characters
to
are
the
in that
objects.
particular, because
I
I've used
guarantee you that's
certain
the reason for
characters
flying into
are
the sun with autopilot.
attached to
I
certain plot
guarantee it.
lines. So that when that character is present, typically that's kind of the signifier that plot line is coming into play and intersecting with this other one.
How do we communicate this idea to players in a way that is like interesting narratively? Makes sense why the Nomai would even be talking about this, and is also like, you know, telling you, you read it and you're like, okay, I get what this text is actually communicating. And we just did just so many revisions of all of this and so many play tests.
This is how you used to read text in the game.
Oh wow.
Except it's not
Is
like
it busted?
Oh, probably.
They were busted at one point, yeah.
Or you have to pull out your. No, you have to pull out your translator.
Oh my gosh, I coded this.
Oh wow.
Wow.
It does that faster now.
That's yeah.
It does that a lot
From a
faster now.
design perspective, a certain amount of minimalism was actually advantageous. Like, knowledge is the only reward. So you learning, you know, things is the only thing you get. You know, it's really hard to do because players see text as lore that is not necessarily actionable. We really had to set the example of never having lore-only text, which also applies to other things, to have lore-only pieces of level design or part of the environment. So through design, we actually had to be pretty minimalist because we had to make sure everything was actionable and everything was pointing to the thing it helped you to do.
So originally, the ship log we knew we were going to need because we didn't want people to have to take paper notes. We originally only had the solar system view, where it's sort of the planets in a row. We added the rumor mode with the lines, the detective board, like a year before launch, because we just had some playtests. People just weren't understanding the structure of the game, like how to go about investigating. Let's just show them how we think about it, and like let's just put our design docs into the game. Pretty much is what we did. We needed ways to get people curious about things, and pointing your telescope at a distant planet and hearing a sound just seemed like a no. You know, it's like, well, yeah, of course people are going to want to go check that out.
Absolutely.
You can go to like NASA's website and there are these recordings of like sounds from Saturn where they sort of interpret data they've recorded. And there's just we knew we wanted to have these travelers around the solar system
using
on
the
each
signal
planet,
scope
sort
to
of as
see, like, where
the trail
they
guide
were
or the
at
travel
and
guides
go
for
to
each
them.
planet. And it's like, okay, they each play an instrument.
Hear the
Wouldn't it be
songs.
cool if you could just pick up the music in sort of a whimsical fashion?
Back in the very beginning stages, we were talking about having the different travelers on different planets, and then I kind of crafted the concept with Alex of having them like actually all playing the same tune, not having them play different songs. Like I was like, we should have them play together, so it's kind of grasp this approach where like no matter where you're at, like the world can be like a smaller place through music, and like you can be connected that way. Hopefully captivated that message by having them all apart, but really they're all in sync, like in a certain way through this like tune that's really like a premonition to the end of the game. Really, it was based on like thinking about sitting around a campfire and something that's simple and easy to play but memorable. So like it kind of gets caught in your head. So I mean, really, the main theme is only like a couple bars long. It's about the joy of life and like the journey and like all the existential stuff that gets involved towards the end of the game. Like, and it's sort of this theme that starts off like when you hear it first, like it sounds kind of happy, but over time, like it becomes this melancholy and like reflective piece.
That's what I
So
heard.
that's kind of what I was aiming for, like this bittersweet, like nostalgic campfire tune. Really, like I want it to be like when music is playing, something important is happening. It's not just kind of like it's important for it to stand out when it needs to, and when there doesn't need to be music, there shouldn't be. And especially like when you get into the desolation of space, I think it helps make it a little bit more fearful in areas where there's no music, because you really do feel like you're a little bit more alone, because all you're hearing is like your breathing and stuff. That way people notice the music and like it actually is meaningful rather than always just being around.
That is so well explained. The fact that that composer knew the feeling he wanted to go for.
The second thing I
from
ever
the
wrote was
beginning,
the main title. So what I did was I went back and I recorded myself playing banjo with my 7 years ago self at the very end, just because I thought it would be cool to like literally wrap the game up like when you first play it, like it's like me playing at the beginning when we started and then at the very end. It's like multi-track banjo, and one of them is me from 7 years ago and one of them is me from right before the game came out. It's like May. Yeah, that's what I was like, I have to do it.
Dude, he did a beautiful job with
We
music.
talked to the team at Mobius about design for over 2 days. But as you know, time is precious, so we can't fit it all in the dock. So if you're interested in watching some bonus scenes, you can do so on our Patreon for the price of a few bags of marshmallows. Speaking of paywalls, Outer Wilds had what you might consider to be an untraditional launch.
And I immediately
For
pulled it
PC,
out,
it would be
and
an
I
Epic Game
heard
Store exclusive, while on consoles, it would launch as part of Xbox Game Pass. We asked the development team about the reasons for both of these partnerships, and they said those decisions were made by Massey and their publisher, Annapurna.
The game launched in May of 2019 and has been slowly building positive word of mouth as the studio continues to tinker on it.
The Ash Twin project has gone through several redesigns as the final puzzle has stumped a number of players, while the game was brought to PlayStation 4 in October of 2019.
And I pulled it out again,
Yes, I would like to
and I
publicly
actually got
apologize
them
to
to
the
line
Ashton
up. I got
Project,
two of them to
puzzle.
line up, and I was like, oh man, wouldn't that be so cool? At the very beginning of the game, for my first start, I was like, wouldn't that be so cool
actually?
at some point I could line them all up and hear it all as one song, because I bet you it makes a full song. That would be so cool.
We did do long form playtests, and we knew that was an issue.
And it came to an end.
It's not as easy as just going in and like just telling people the answer,
and I got
because we
to hear
don't
the
want to
full song
invalidate
like
all
that.
of the other
It
clues.
genuinely
So we're
did
trying some new
start with
stuff with our
me
new
and
patch,
end.
actually. That's coming out pretty
Start with a
soon.
song and end with a
We'll
song, at
see.
least for
We're
my
watching
playthrough, and I
people play,
love that
streamers
so much because I
online,
had
you
that
know, still
idea
taking playtest
in
notes.
my head from the
We've
beginning.
been really
And the fact
happy,
that was so
with Game
purposeful
Pass,
is
It has
amazing.
really brought so many people that may not have played the game, and now that they have, they're just enthusiastic evangelists for us. So that has been a really great experience. Because it's a game that's so easy to spoil, you try to say as little as possible, which makes it hard to sell. So like a a game that is in itself a mystery,
especially
will
because
definitely benefit from the
when I started, I wanted to hear them all together, and when I hit the end of the game, I even said at the end of my playthrough,
they may try out a mystery and then be like, oh my god, you have to try this.
I finally hear
I remember
it.
I
remember sitting around and seeing them all around the campfire, and I was like, I finally get to hear the full game,
and they like parked their
the
ship,
whole song,
and they went down and
at
explored
once.
for a while, and then they were looking over and they saw a piece falling, and then their ship just sort of like tumbled off the top of the fragment and like bounced off as it was falling into the black hole. And they're like, my ship, and they were like chasing after it as it's like falling into this black hole.
I did
and
that
I was
once
like,
or twice.
all right, we made a cool game.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time on it. Like several people on the team spent like basically a year of our lives working on that ship. And we had all these like grand ideas of like how we want it to break apart, and we want all the like
saw my ship
little
falling,
gadgets
like,
to be
"No!"
actually useful. And like in the middle of development, when you're just like trying to ship the game, it's like, oh, there's no way, like it's just going to be a box that moves around. Like, I guess we'll make it work. And then when we actually like managed to get like the damage in there, we managed to get the destructibility in there, and just the more little details we could add, it just really feels right. And seeing people fall in love with the ship and like have adventures where the gravity crystal breaks and they're floating around, hurtling towards the sun, and they're trying to repair
with
things.
The music, I realized
it's just
we
so
can
exciting
do,
for me every time I see
it might
something
take a
like
bit
that.
Of setup.
I mean, when you're
being
a
on the
musician
stranger
and
would make
composer,
it
you want to be
easy
listened
see.
to, and
okay,
you want to be
we
heard
can
and
definitely
like have
check
your
that
voice,
out.
like
I said, we're doing a couple Easter eggs that you guys can think of today. So,
and finally, that has happened on a large scale where people are noticing my work. So it's like finally stuff is paying off after all this time. The community behind Outer Wilds is like really passionate about the music too.
Oh yeah.
As well as the game. So that's been like incredible to have people reach out and like tell me how much the music means to them, or that they've been listening to it like nonstop. And I don't know, it's really like it feels really good.
Do we know what the composer's name is? I forgot to look that up yesterday. I forgot to find the album.
All right, it's time we address the elephant in the room. There's probably a bunch of you who clicked on this video expecting us to be talking about something else. A different game set in space that came out in 2019 and was developed by a studio based in Los Angeles.
I think we were just in a class and a few of us were brainstorming. We were just tossing around ideas, words that felt good. I think I remember at one point we were like, cosmic wilderness.
Andrew Fairlove.
And then we're like, all right, well Wilds is shorter, that, and then Outer Wilds somehow, like, just, you kind of slot the words together.
Dang, we're almost at the end.
It's like Outer Wilds, yeah, all right.
I didn't even realize that.
And it stuck.
Do you remember when you first saw that there was another game coming out that had a somewhat similar name?
I do, because it was almost exactly a year ago at the Game Awards.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Actually, no, we had seen it, they'd filed a patent, or like a copyright. We had seen The Outer Worlds. I remember looking at that being like, wow, I really hope they like hear about our game and don't do that. But the Game Awards, we saw that trailer and it's just like, all right, cool. The Outer Worlds and Outer Wilds together in 2019. They obviously are a bigger studio than we are and have a bigger kind of reach, and I think ultimately it's probably good for us because just people talk about it. They're like, wait, these aren't the same game? What is happening? Like,
Have you ever met any of the folks from Obsidian? They're pretty close. They're in Irvine.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Oh man. You know, we've talked about that we should like do some sort of cross-promotional thing with them. Just like, just anything. Or like April Fools, we just actually switch our names.
That would be
I think
hilarious.
Logan mentioned that the other day. I was just like, oh, it'd be so good though.
like the Outer Bundle.
Yeah,
the
it's
Outer
been
Bundle.
It's been a strong year for Outer games.
I like that he took it so well that it was just like that is what it is.
We've explored the origin of this game, the design of its planets, how the team guided players, the technical challenges, and the emotional core of the game. But Outer Wilds is more than a sum of its parts. It's the type of game that leaves you with a feeling that can't be explained. It has to be experienced.
And for the team at Mobius Digital, the years-long cycle from award-winning thesis project to full retail release has been an experience all on its own.
I think the nicest thing is, even though working on the project has been like super crazy, we haven't really had to like crunch, and we all work like reasonable hours. I think it's the fact that it's just like a nice chill atmosphere.
You know, we try to keep the work environment good and safe and make sure people don't overwork, but to some extent we did not as good of a work on that side for the leads. For me, Alex and Wesley, we both had to deal with a lot of stress, and so like, yeah, it was difficult, but to finally see the results, to hear from people. This dad who played the game with their, I think, 9 or 10-year-old kid, and who told us that at the end the kid wanted to become an astronaut. I was just melting in my chair reading this, you know? It's that sort of stuff. It's just like,
That's
oh my
awesome.
God, okay, this was all
You
worth
can see
it.
your game
And, yeah.
inspire dreams. It's like, yeah, I made something. I made something worthwhile.
When we released it and we started to get feedback back in, just seeing the people who understood what we were trying to do. It's like people like the game for the reasons why we made it, and like they got the story we were trying to tell. And I'm really proud that we told a story that could only, in a way that could only be told through video games. And because we tried really hard. We wanted to make something that couldn't have been made any other way.
We can definitely
yeah,
tell
that
you
there's sort
tried
of this,
really hard.
this just connection with everyone who plays the game, and like we added something meaningful to the lives
I
of the
guess
people
that
who
also
played it.
makes
It's
more
just
sense
like really humbling.
going
but
back
like
on
an
the
incredible
point
feeling.
of like how their physics engine works, in which that you're actually the center and everything else moves around you, and how it's loaded. I guess that would actually help, because at that point you can force everything
Thanks for watching our
into
video.
a deload instead of
shout
the
out to all these
player force
patrons who have,
everything into a
paid
deload.
for-
You know what I mean?
paid for all these
To where-
marshmallows,
I guess that would make
which I've
sense
been
why
gorging
everything would
on,
work how it works and how it works so
for most
well.
of the shoot.
Because if
They're
you
really
are the
delicious.
center
They'd be a lot
point,
nicer if
then
we
you only
actually
have
had
to
a
focus
fire
on the
here.
numbers
But, setting
that
fires
go
indoors
away
probably
into
not a
you,
good idea.
instead of
And
all of the
California
numbers
kind
that
of
you
frowns,
could possibly go to.
you know, frowns on people
guess
setting
that-
fires outdoors for documentaries about video games. So
Man.
we just did it in post, I guess.
That's
Thank you so much
insane.
for supporting our work. If you'd like to become a patron and get access to bonus scenes from this documentary and a bunch of other things, then please go to patreon.com/NoClip
Great
and help us
documentary.
fund even more documentaries in 2020.
That's insane. That's some crazy work. That's some insanely crazy work. Thanks for the it also makes for the fun physics glitches if you fly far enough away from the sun. I bet. I absolutely bet. All right. Move the entire setup. Okay. Float point error maybe. Ha! You can get the interloper to crash into Giant's Deep. What? That's funny. Okay. Man, that was a really good documentary. I didn't even realize that 51 minutes had passed that quickly. I was expecting to kind of just sit here and be like, okay, you know, that flew by. I once had a tree on the quantum bone pierce my ship. What? How did you do that? I figured you meant moon. I was just making fun of you. How did you get a tree to pierce your ship? Let me get some stuff set up. I have no idea either. It just happened. That's hilarious. That's really funny. Let's see. I will guys this while I set stuff up. So now we'll do a little bit of Easter egg hunting. That sound good? Do a little bit Easter egg hunting. Also, I think it's mentioned in the DLC podcast episode, but a big reason why the loop is only 22 minutes is because of if the simulation ran much longer, the planets would start crashing into each other. That's hilarious. That's funny that there's a legit reason of like, well, we had to make it like that long because otherwise shit would kind of go bad. That's funny. I like that reasoning a lot. All right, Kat, you have Easter eggs in mind for us? You got some cool Easter eggs for us to do, Kat? You have a few? Cool. Let's... Oh, hold up. These guys are probably the most fun people to work with, honestly. I think smaller companies like this with just like really cool ambitions and projects that they're really interested in and really want to do are probably some of the best people to work with because they're there for the love of the game. You know? And so I think they have some of the coolest, probably most fun job and time together. They probably heavily enjoy being together, and that's really what it all means at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Let's see. Do we want to stay in chatting, or do we want to go over to Outer Wilds? The design of the white hole station was like... okay, so setup for one, I was talking about earlier, you know the secret entrance on the outside of the ship that leads to the lab? I actually don't. I knew that there would be some entrance on the outside because I had a feeling that there was some crash point. I actually never found that. Yeah, I literally never found that. I knew that there had to have been some kind of secret entrance, but I had no clue. I don't know where it is or anything, so you'll have to show us. The design of the White Hole Station was like an interview question. They liked the first design well enough to directly put it in the ship. Oh, that's awesome. Another Easter egg in the lab. Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, don't worry. Don't think you're like spoiling anything, because we're at this point. I'm gonna say basically we're done with the game. Today we're gonna Easter egg hunt, and then we're probably gonna move on to another game. So don't worry. Anything spoiler at this point is fine. We're all good. Alright, let's go ahead and do this. We'll go ahead and pause the music. I got everything set up. I think. Maybe. Come over here. Hold on. Wait a minute. Give me a second. Whoop. Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this. Let me boot up our browser real quick so I can guide you there. Okay, cool. We can also go ahead and just take a look for it. That's not what I want to do. Nope. Load. Alright, let's see if we can find some of these Easter eggs. We're gonna go to the ship immediately, and I'm gonna just see if I can start finding it. I knew there had to be a secret entrance. I knew, or maybe not just a secret entrance, but I knew that there had to be another one. Oops, wrong button. Boop, boop, boop. Perfect. Alright. Yeah, all this makes so much more sense now. Alright. We will head off to Stranger. Let's see if we can find some of these goofy Easter eggs, huh? Let's do it. Where do you think it is, Kat? Where do you think it is? Give me a estimation. Is it on dark side or light side? And do I have to wait a certain amount of time before I can see it, or? So there's a slide reel somewhere I don't remember that shows an explosion going off on the outside of the ship when you approach from the sunward side. Do we have to wait for that explosion? Nope. Okay. When approaching from the sunward side. And the physics of the ship and how it flies now makes so much more sense. Okay, so line up with the hangar. Got it. Alright, what's next? Next step. What's next? What's next, Sket? You look at the spikes with lights on the tips, the outermost ring of them. There's a hole blown open right in front of one. You go to the left of the hangar. So you look at the spikes with the lights. Uh-huh. The outermost ring of them. There's a hole blown right in front of one. Is there? I don't see a hole blown. Unless I didn't follow your instructions very well. Are you talking about that? That's tiny as hell! How was I ever supposed to find that? That's some bullshit. Can I... What the hell? Oh. What happened? Kinda wish I had found that slide rail. How did I not find that slide rail? I thought I had explored like everything. It's this room, mother... Do you understand how long I tried to get in here? I tried to get in here so many times. That's a lot of artifacts. 1, 2, 3. Wait, why do these ones not have focuses? Huh. Anyways, lock. Oh, look. How do I get in there? Sick. Alright, well, I'm gonna explore the lab for a minute if you don't mind. So he sits in the chair, he holds an artifact, goes to sleep, he wakes up. Okay. I'll you see what the other devices do. Right. Yeah, I've never picked up this kind of a lantern before. Okay. So you pick up a focus lantern. You go sit in the chair. You go to sleep. You wake up. Everything's all fuzzy because you're in the Matrix. You see your planet and then you die. Okay. Can I open the door? I can. Bummer. Okay. Well, I guess I have more stuff to learn. Where am I going? Here. That building. Up this way. Definitely give that reel a watch. Got it. I'm already picking up some info from it. Can I just like... I don't have a lantern with me. Do I have to really go... okay, fine. Okay. Guess there's still more like lore-ish to learn here. That's cool. What? Perfect. Perfect. All right. So lantern, half focus lantern, and then focus lantern. Yeah. So you pick up lantern. You go into one of the things, and then when you fall asleep and we look inside, you wake up. What? You shake your head no. Then, when you pick up that kind of a lantern, and you fall asleep, bad shit happens, the world explodes. Okay, then when we pick up a focus lantern, and you fall asleep, it lights up. And that's the one you want to use. Okay, so basically don't use the second one. I kind of want to use it now, though. Is it bad that I want to use the one that doesn't have the focus? Oh, God. Definitely. Oh, yeah, okay, never mind. Is it bad that I want to use the one without the focus because they burned it out? Is that bad? Do it for science. Yeah, I feel like I want to do it for science. Science compels us to blow up ourselves. Exactly. Oh, wait, they have different symbols. Ah, but this one... It seems as though maybe I shouldn't do that. Now that I really take a better look at it, maybe I shouldn't do that. Hey, close the door. I mean, there's no fire here, though. How do I get fire? How do I get fire? I gotta figure out the fire situation first. But science. Yeah, but the other dude kind of, fucking exploded. There's fire back at the temple. Huh? I mean, yeah. I guess that's right. I don't really have to do it in one of these little chambers, huh? Where you got the lantern. I mean, yeah. Oops, wrong way. Only a little. Fine. We'll go back to the temple and we'll go to sleep and hopefully not fucking explode. Ah, shit. Can I get back up? I don't know. Up? You know, I think I made a mistake. Can I Skyrim parkour this? Maybe. Oh. Ah, shit. This is gonna be more difficult than I thought it was gonna be. Maybe I can up here? Uh-oh. Ah, shit. Fuck. Okay. Maybe we can try this side. Okay. Yeah, that's not where I wanted to stand, but it works. Uh-oh. Guys, I think I made a mistake. I'm gonna be honest. I think I have done messed up. Hold up, wait a minute. Whoa. Shit. Damn it. Alright. Fuel's running low. Nah. We'll be fine. It'll be A-okay. Maybe. You can always go down the river and use the fire by the dam. Yeah, you're right. Fine. We'll do it your way. Only because my way's not working. Wait, we can set the prisoner free like this. Hold on, we'll just explode his in capture. We'll just explode this bell of his, and then boom, set free. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. That's how it works, right? We'll just explode his prison. Alright, sleepy time. Man, I sure hope nothing goes wrong. Oh, Attempt to use a secondary artifact prototype. Curiosity killed the cat. Yeah, that's probably the intended method. Guys, I don't think that one worked. I'm feeling that one didn't work. Hey, I knew it was gonna explode me after seeing what happened in the lab. It was inevitable. It was going to happen, okay? There was no this, that, here, yes. It was going to happen. Up. Here. Up and away! Okay, so I need to go back to that lab and find it. Is that the Easter egg? Or that was a lot of fun. Yeah, exactly. So okay, next, did you find the secret entrance at the dam? Yeah, that was it. Perfect. Was that the only Easter egg in the lab? I think so. Okay, cool. Also, cat. Do you mean this one? Do you mean this entrance? Yes, I did find it. I went to the dam, walked across the dam, found the little command room, found the other room that led to this elevator that led to here, so yes, I did find it. Is there anything I need to do here? Other than look off into the sunset as the sun explodes? Come to think of it, wasn't there something else here that I wanted to do that I never ended up doing? Did I really never find this? What's this? What is this? What have I found? What have I stumbled upon? I don't know what that means. Maybe I should go back to my ship. My ship will tell me. Because my ship knows more than I do for some reason. I find something new and my ship's like, oh yeah, that thing? Here's some knowledge about it. It shows the blast radius of the supernova. Oh, gotcha. Cool. Alright, what else do we need to do here? I'm on top of the world. The world is really tall. And I'm gonna crawl into bed. Alright, where do we gotta go, Cat? What do we gotta do? We got places to be, people to see. Okay, go down the diving bell prison thing. Go down to the diving bell prison thing. Got it. Oh, here I go. Whee! I'm surprised the owl people would think 300,000 years ahead, honestly. Alright, I'm here. Oh wait, we need an artifact. Bruh. And there isn't one here. I know there isn't one here. What have you done? It's okay. We'll just go get one. It is okay. It'll be fine. Okay. That way. Oh, yeah. Perfect. Uh-oh. I didn't let myself refuel. It's fine. It'll be fine. Okay. Then we jump here. And then we jump up this way. And then we jump over... Nope. Over here. You gonna give me problems again? You better not. I don't know how I did this so flawlessly my first time. My first time landing in the trees, I landed just perfectly, instantly. I was a gamer. I was a gamer. I'm no longer a gamer. Denounce me of my title of gamer. Perfect. Yeah, I can make it. I was telling the truth. Let me look something up real quick while you make your way there. Perfect. We're gonna open up the prison without dying. Okay. refuel a jetpack somewhere nearby? Thinking. I don't think there is there? I don't think there is. I'm not sure if the bird people had jetpacks. Well, then why in their church is there a jetpack, okay? Huh? Explain that one me then, huh? I failed. You know what? You know what? You know what? You know what? Fine, fine. We'll just go this way. Whee! Yeah, why does their church have jetpack refuel if they didn't have jetpacks? I think they planned for me to be here, okay? If they planned the sun exploding 300,000 years in advance, they absolutely planned for me to be here. Okay? They were courteous enough to leave refueling stations here and there. And just didn't leave them everywhere, which is a little unfortunate. And down we go, and oh, oh, okay, okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. Up we go, around, perfect. All right, so how doth one do this, cat? The woke owls wanted to have accessible spaceships. Oh yeah, if you pay close attention, and that screen up by the dam helps, the reason everything starts falling apart is because the stranger starts moving away from the sun. Ah, gotcha. To escape the supernova. I get, that's fair. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. We're gonna open up the prison without dying. I mean, I opened up the prison without dying. What do you mean? Oh, that makes so much more sense now. Right? It does. We never died in the first place to open up the prison, right? You just pulled my leg or what? Okay, go in and get ready to enter some codes. Okay. Fine. You can see the green solar... Sorry. You can see the green solar sails deploy. Ah. Fair enough. So how would we know all these codes? Like, how would I have found the codes in-game? You have to be dead to get past the bells normally. What bells? You have to be dead to get past the bells normally? Also, data mining is bullshit. I have to be dead in order to get past those? The seekers? I guess that makes sense because they see you. The alarm bell is guarding the rightmost code. Gotcha. Alright, I'm ready to enter in some codes. I'm guessing that's I enter in the codes here, right? Okay, the first is gimme if you eyes matrix mode to see it. Oh, I guess that's fair. Fine, fine, fine. Blink. What? Boop. 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 Yeah. What's the next? Here, while you type in the next, I'll go do this. Man. That's, yeah, I wonder what's gonna happen when we don't die. This is kinda cool. I blew it out. I don't know how I have strong enough lungs to do that from all the way over there, but I guess so. We Hearthians are strong-lunged. This one. The second code is Star Sun. Okay. Star, Sun, Saturn, Fire. Saturn, Fire. 3/4 moon? If that makes sense. If that 3/4 moon. I don't know what you're counting as moon. I'm guessing that. Oh, I missed the thing, didn't I? Hold on. Star, Sun, Saturn, Fire. I completely forgot the fire. 3/4 moon. Got it. Cool. Wee. Alright, what's the third one? What? Perfect. I'm so good at it. You know, I would say something, but that's probably not. I won't. You'll take it out of context. And we having that now. Oh, uh-oh. Oh. Fine. Okay. I bet you it's like Saturn, astronaut, sun, half moon, star. Nope. Third is half moon. Fuck. I'm already wrong. Half moon, 3/4 moon, Saturn. Man, we're really far off, huh? 3/4 moon and half moon. Half moon, 3/4 moon, Saturn, 3/4 moon, half moon. Am I supposed to just trust? I don't trust. I didn't turn the levers on the other one. Turn what lever? What lever are we talking about? I will give you that 1 sec. Also, reboot, I guess the point of this Easter egg is to do it without dying. It's like, yes, you are normally right, you have to get past the alarms while being dead, but I guess when you enter in the code, it's supposed to make it to where you can do it without dying. Did you look at the codes for a sec? I'm looking at it. I'm looking real intently. I'm really staring. Oh, sorry. Sorry, trying to figure it out. You're all good. You're all good. You're all good. It's all fine. What if it's like 3/4 moon, half moon, half moon, 3/4 moon? What happens if in this one they meant this 3/4 moon? Wait, hold on. Half moon. This 3/4 moon. Nope. This 3/4 moon and half moon. What happens if that's what it meant? Nope. 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 Stop. It's fine. Oh, the light overhead should be out now. Oh! Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. I understand. I see what you're saying. Yep, I got it. Oh. Oh. Sorry, I just edged him a little bit. Wink. Open sesame! Prisoner! Hey, buddy! Hey, 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 buddy! Buddy, hey, 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 buddy, guess what? I'm not dead! I didn't have to die to free you! Hey, 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 friend! Hey! What? Wink. Open. Hey. Wink. Hey. Hey. Open. Thank you. Ooh. Eat. Eat. Okay, now open it up and then jump in the water. What? Or talk to him first. I thought I messed up. Sorry, bud. I actually can't talk right now. Okay, never mind. Yes, I can. Can I go back up? Sorry, bud. I can't talk right now. I have more important matters to attend to. You don't get to be free. I feel like we just want to get back to the real world before the sun goes. Ah, got it. I can't Mario 64 glitch this. I don't think we have to talk to him. Okay. In the water. Yeah. He's dead. No. No. No, friend! I'm in here with him now. We are one. Time for sad? What do you mean time for sad? I mean, it's sad that he's dead. True. Yeah. Well, we chill with him now. He's smiling. He's happy. Hello, sir. Sorry, am I all up in your business? Sorry. Anyway, ow. Well, is that all for that Easter egg? Neat that they actually put it in even though you can't normally see it, right? I do like that a lot. Yes, awesome. Alright, what's the next one? There's one more I know, but I gotta look up how to do it. Okay, cool. I don't really have fuel. Ow. Well, I guess we're dead now. Go look at our updated ship log. Damaged laboratory. Cool. Is it still on the stranger? By chance? I'm going to assume yes. So we will head there first. I'm also a little curious as to what happens if I just fly out. Okay, so it's kind of hard to get to, but you know how in the Endless Canyon there's the big building you go through, and then at the end you run across the invisible bridge on the bottom floor? Yes. I can't exactly remember which one's the Endless Canyon off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure that's the third area. So yes. Invisible bridge. I'm not sure what invisible bridge you're talking about though. Let's see. Yeah, it's the third area. Okay. What about it? We can go there. You want me to go to the Endless Canyon? Yeah? Cool. Let's do it. Let's head them on over there. See me. Okay. What? Oh yeah, stairs first. Or ramp, whatever. Now stairs. Damn it. Son of a bitch. No, what? I was standing on that, you bitch. Okay. Why am I not getting height? Yeah. Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo! Okay, so once you get in, there should be a painting in the circular room. Dog. Okay. Can you please work for 2 seconds? Why are you not jumping? I need to jump and then go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. No. Okay, to get in there should be a painting in a circular room upstairs from the fire that you can jump through. In the simulation, like upstairs though, where you wake up, through there you can blow out the lights to the mansion. Yes, I do know that. Oh, shut up. Wrong one. Okay. Phew. Yeah, shut up. Once the lights are out, instead of going the hard... Are you kidding me? I was Dude. Everything, there's an invisible bridge the way on the right side you can walk across and get around on the side of the mansion. Oh, you want me to go on the right side one? Not the left side one? I can do that. Yeah, okay. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about now. Okay, you want me to go to the invisible bridge? Got it. I think I know what you're talking about now. Okay, I can go all the way down there. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. So what about this bridge? You want me to go across it? Why? The hard part is, on the bottom floor there will be an antler guy that walks out of a door behind you, yes. You have to get around him and go into the room he came out of. I knew there was something in there! Fuck! Peekaboo. How am I gonna get around you? That sounds like the most insanely intensive job. You don't know I'm here. You don't know I'm here. You don't know I'm here. You have no clue. How did he not catch me? It's a tricky one for sure. I ain't here. I ain't here. I ain't here, fam. We ain't here. That's right, you walk back. This guy needs to chill out. Whoa! This guy's gotta chill, man. Kind of some. He's being a little biatch. I'm not here. What I thought. If you do manage to make it there, there should be a little art gallery, and you should be able to walk through the first painting on the left, and that's where the Easter egg is. Got it. Assignment understood. I know you can see this. So how am I gonna pull you out there and then ring around the Rosie you? How does one pull off such a masterful plan? How do I lure you out and then run around you without you just staring at me the whole time? I feel feel like you've got me on a Mission Impossible task here. Oh. Hello? Hello? Yes, sir. Fuck, you saw me. You don't see me. You have no clue I'm here. You can't get across the invisible bridge even though you're the one who built it. You have no clue how to get across it. Loser. He has no idea. Nah, I ain't here. You didn't see shit. Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't turn that this way. What are you talking about? You're trying to get me killed. You lied. See, and now he knows where he is. What did you do to me, cat? What do you mean, wait, what happened? There was nothing behind him. It was just a wine cellar. Cat, there was no art gallery. It was just a wine cellar. All I did was trap myself in there with him. What did you do, cat? I think we went to the wrong place. There was nothing back there. Also, do I really need to turn off all the lights in order to do that? It's been a bit since I've done it, sorry. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. I feel like I wouldn't really need to turn off all the lights in order to do that, but... Who's step stomping? Who's stepping and stomping? Where even am I? I don't even know where the heck I is. Is this the main entrance? Oh, it is. Why does it sound like I'm being hunted while I'm up here? Probably because I am. That would be why. Do I have to get past this guy? Is there an art gallery behind this guy? No, there's nothing. Hey dog, you wanna just wake me up? Are you all the way down on the bottom floor? No. I looked it up and it should be there. I'm in my game right now. I'll double check it. I'll double check how to actually do it. Do I like not turn off the lights? Is that what the problem is? Am I not supposed to turn off the lights? Ah, the music's starting. The sun's exploding. They need to be off for the guy to exit the room. Look, the room's right here. And it's a wine. Just it has wine in there. There's no art. You can always look it up on YouTube. I mean, yes. But it's just a wine room. Can't really show you too much without him being all angry, but you see what I'm saying? You can keep walking through the wall at the end. Sir, I'm coming in. Damn. Because at the end of his little room, there's like a chair and some stuff right there. So there's like shelves with like wine and stuff on them. And there's like a chair and stuff. And there is a wall. So am I supposed to like jump over the chair and go through the wall? Trying it now in my game. Got it. Copy that. Let's see. That's not how it looks in my game at all. No way, I have that. There's a secret switch on one of the wine racks that you have to press. What? But do the lights still have to be off? Because in this game it doesn't look like the lights are off at all. Like, it looks like this guy's game is like full brightness or something. Like, he can see the entire room at all times without any light. I'm guessing that's just maybe a mod to help you see him do it or something. I don't know, but. Do lights need to still be off, Cat? Yeah, the lights definitely need to be off. Bummer. Yeah, I get it, I get it, I get it. Game definitely seems to be running a little framey right now. Alright, let's try this again. Hello? What? Sir. Sir. Alright, where's the button? Oh my god. I'm not here. Okay. I'll see if I can make it there. Oh, just the wall. I thought the painting. Got it. Got it. Got it. Mobby. What the? What's going on here? What's this is what we spent all this time on? Alright, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Man, that was a pain to get to. That's pretty funny though. I like that one. I like that. Bitch. I think that's all the Easter eggs? Perfect. Awesome. Because I found the cat one by myself. I'm very proud of that one, by the way. Well, I guess we'll go say hi to our friend. Hello, Mr. Friend. That's Joe. You like Joe? I like Joe. Well, I guess that's all of them. Okay. Let's move it back. Oh, Evie. No mammies. Oh, there is a Korok seed hidden on the roof of one of the buildings in the Endless Canyon, but I have no idea how to actually get there. Beats me. I have no clue. That's cool though. That's good to know. Alright. I think it's time to figure out something very important. is our next game? What is going to be our next series? Saturdays and Sundays are going to stay the same, but what is our next series? I have a few suggestions. I have a few people who have given me suggestions, I should say. But what I want to know your thoughts. What is our next playthrough? It could either be something you guys have played, maybe something you haven't played and that you just want to watch. It could be something that you want to play but will also watch. It could be anything. What are we thinking? Alright, cool. Oy vey. Also, I think we lost Reboot. Not sure if it would be up your alley, but Citizen Sleeper is an all-time favorite of mine. Citizen Sleeper. What is that? Also, hold on. Change something real quick. Okay, perfect. So you said, open up this. You said Citizen Sleeper. Citizen. Just want to make sure it's spelled normally. Citizen Sleeper. Citizen Sleeper Hellion? Or Citizen Sleeper 2? It's like a text-based adventure game mixed with a tabletop RPG with super gorgeous art and music. Which one? I guess this one. I've never, ever heard of this game. Hey, stop that. Let's see, text-based adventure game. I am not typically a huge fan of text-based games, only because they can't keep my retention for long enough. But that doesn't mean I am not willing to try it. Let me look a little bit into it. Alright, so are you talking about Citizen Sleeper 1 or 2? Because at least on Steam I can only find 2. But let's see. Oh, that's interesting. I've only played the first and like an hour or so of the second. Okay. I wonder why I can't find Citizen Sleeper 1. There it is. It just wasn't showing up. That's so weird. Okay. Citizen Sleeper. I will do a little bit more looking into it. Hey, Chris! How are we doing today? How was your vacay? Cat, I will look into this game a little bit more. And we may give it a try, but I don't know. Because like I said, I'm not typically huge on like text-based games. For example, I'm not huge on like whatchamacallit? Like the Telltale game series. Because typically if I'm playing a game, I want to like be playing a game. And if I'm watching a movie, I like want to watch a movie or a show or something. And so things that kind of meet that middle gray zone just are really hard for me to focus on, because I feel like I'm sitting there watching something, but then I also need to do a little bit of input, and it's hard for me to stay focused. Might not be your thing. Doing alright, getting ready to stream, vacation was good, that's good. Might not be your thing, it's definitely not a game I would normally play, but the characters and writing really sucked me in. Yeah, no worries either way. That's really good to know. Yeah, if it's got like really good story, we might give it a try. I will definitely look into it. And then I will let you know. Oh, shut up, Chris. Yeah, I will literally use all. I will always. See, if I use the different excuse every time, then it would feel like I'm lying. If I use the same excuse every time, then it doesn't sound like I'm lying, because I'm not lying. Have I played Tunic? Oh my god. You'd be Holden at that point, right? Exactly. Holden doesn't know how to keep his excuses straight. Tunic. Funny enough to ask about that game, because I think that one's on my list. No, I have never played this game, but I have really wanted to play this game. Tunic. Look at Tunic real quick. Okay. Let's see. Let's see how Tunic is doing straight on Twitch. Oh dang, not very many people are even playing the game? What? We could absolutely give Tunic a try. I've never played Tunic, but I've always been interested. That might be a good recommendation, Kat. I might actually play Tunic. Let's put that on the list. Yeah. This looks like a cool little RPG game. Heck yeah. It's literally Souls-like. Huh. What I never thought. Oh, it's similar to Death's Door? Death's Door was a cool game. I don't think I ever actually fully finished it. I played like, I don't know, like an hour or two at Death's Door, and Death's Door was cool. So if it's like Death's Door, then I think I'll like Tunic. Hey. You might be putting me onto something here, Kat. You might be putting me onto here something. Wow, that was English. I think you'll like it. Awesome. We might be going over to that then. Everything is basically a Souls-like at this point. Everyone loves putting the tag. I know, right? Hey, if it has a dodge roll, it's a Souls-like, okay? Whoa, shut up. What else was I gonna look into? I also wouldn't mind playing Death's Door, if that's something that we're interested in. Death's Door. Let's go to here. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I can also do this game too, maybe. Took what I was gonna say right out of my mouth. Yeah, if it has a dodge roll, it's a Souls-like. If you like mysteries and puzzles and Zelda Souls combat, it's a very good time. Awesome, you should play Blueprints. You know what? I am interested in playing Blueprints. However, if I'm gonna be like super real and super forward with you guys, the only reason why I haven't mentioned or like really thought about playing Blueprints is because like everyone and their mother right now is streaming Blueprints, and if I were to start streaming it, I would probably get like no viewership. Like, you know, if I'm gonna be super forward and super real, I am still very small. So I don't want to go into a big pool with like 1,000 other people streaming a game, because that's just basically trying to set myself up for failure at that point. So, you know, I am trying to look for categories in which are interesting for me to play because I want to be interested in what I'm doing. So then, you know, because no one wants to watch a streamer or someone play a game that they're not interested in, right? We've all seen those videos, even big content creators who play a game that's popular, but you can tell during the video that they're like not interested whatsoever, and it's not as fun to watch them play the game. So I want to play things that interest me, so then it's interesting to watch, but I also don't want to play games that are just so bloated with people streaming them that I'm just not even going to get found to where no one can see me enjoying the game that I'm playing. You're streaming Oblivion today, so you guess, you know, you're fucked. You know what? That's also another thing, is like if you're streaming a big enough game at that point, people will click on random streamers. So like you're not fucked. And also again, if you're creating content that you like, that's not a problem, right? Just personally, for analytics wise, I'm a very numbers based person. So I like to look at numbers and then I go off of numbers. If you want to play something that you just like, and it's, like I've said before, if it's Call of Duty, Fortnite, if it's some massive name where you've got 60,000 people watching and you've got 8,000 people streaming it, it doesn't mean you're fucked. It just means that you're competing in a different kind of pool. But if you're still doing it in the right way, it's not like you're screwed, you know? I know nothing about the game, so I'm interested in trying it out because of the hype. Right. And if you have a good time with it and someone finds you, and then they bring their friends and stuff, it doesn't mean you're fucked, right? Like, I don't want you to take what I'm saying to heart and dishearten you into doing what you want to do. I'm just letting you know how I'm doing it myself and the route that I'm going, right? We can do different things, it's fine. Can't wait to spend an hour on character creation. You'll never guess what character I'm making. Oh, I'll never guess, Chris. Oh, wait. Maybe I can, considering you make the same character in every game. I mean, that's fair. I spent, like, I don't know, an hour in character creation in frickin' Cyberpunk, I think. And when I go to play Oblivion, I absolutely will probably be spending, like, an hour in character... Well, no, I'll probably spend, like, 20 minutes in character creation, because I'm just gonna make a monstrosity. But... I'm also gonna play Oblivion at some point. I just, I don't really have the time for it, if I'm super honest. Between streaming and work, and doing the back end and getting other content creation and stuff set up, I just don't really have the time for, like, personal solo adventures and stuff. So most of what I play is just gonna be on stream. There's only one game that I play these days that isn't on stream. That's only because stream would hate watching me play that game. Yes, it is Rocket League, Chris. Because I can spend 5 minutes in a match and then go on to do what I need. It's the perfect game to kill a little amount of time, but still interest my brain enough to just do something for a little bit. But yeah, I think Kat, I will definitely look into Tunic, and our next playthrough might definitely be Tunic, honestly. Why not? I think that would be super fun. I do want to look into this. Yes. I gotta head out, but it was fun hanging out and getting to share some Outer Wilds Easter eggs. Yeah, woo, Tunic! Thank you very much for hanging out. I very much appreciate it. Thank you for telling me about the cool, fun Easter eggs, and you have a good one. I hope we will see you next time. Bye, Cat! I caved and decided to do a stream starting and ending screen. Bye! I don't see how that's really a cave. I said just because I'm doing it doesn't mean you have to do it, but... Bro really leaving us? I know, Cat's really leaving us. I can't believe it. Also, welcome to the chat, Blitzy. But like I said, Chris, just because I'm doing it doesn't mean you have to do it. You don't need a starting and ending screen. Now, if you want one, that's totally fine, but I did tell you don't need one. Some people just go live. Wait, when was I a mod? I'm moving up in the world. Technically, you were a mod 2 years ago. And then I unmodded you for a little bit because you weren't showing up to streams. And then since you were actually showing up to some of the streams these days, I remodded you. In all honesty, that's just what happened. Blissy's in the chat. Let's go. Yes, Chris, you have moved up. Oblivion. Yes, this game will be going in my wish list, and at some point we will get Oblivion, and at some point I will play the game. That just some point won't be right now. Dang, this game is verified on Steam Deck? That's crazy. That means John could play. Huh. Make sure. Let's do this a little bit. There we go. That's probably a little bit better. Man, I think Tunic might be the next one. Seems like a fun move away from the puzzle side for a little bit. Why not? Also, Chris, I gotta ask you, are you still interested in playing Dragon Wilds? Quite possibly. What do you mean by quite possibly? I need a yes or no. I need to know if I'm allowed to start really streaming it and continuing in the game, or if you want to play and then you and I can stream it together and we can continue in the game. I need to know what kind of content I'm creating, Chris. Don't keep the class waiting now. I wouldn't be against the idea of possibly playing the game at some point. That is such a vague answer, and you know that that's bullshit. I need like a genuine answer, my guy. But yeah, I'm down to play more of it. Okay. I see. You were just farting around. I get it. Okay, cool. I have played a little bit since you were gone, but what do we do? I think we just killed a shit ton of goblins, and I think I made more chests, and I've been making more food and stuff. But yeah. I see you've been playing a good amount of GTFO. Not really. Let's see, we got on for Cheese to see if he could run the game. We went into a mission. We went into the first, like, yeah, the first mission. And then we failed that miserably a lot of times. And then John got the game and we wanted to see if he could run the game. So then we did the same thing for him and failed miserably many times. It's about the extent of our adventures. Shame on me. How is that shame on me? For failing the mission? I know, my bad. I should be ashamed that I failed the mission. I apologize. So you wanted to play, but you don't want to play anymore? If you don't want to play anymore, I can tell the guys that. It's fine. Alright, that's what I thought. It's not like you can't still play. It's like I said, we played the first mission and failed miserably many times. Just want to experience the beginning together, I suppose. You can still experience we can still experience the beginning together, basically. Again, we failed the first mission like 4 times. We haven't even like touched the game really. I think actually we beat the first mission finally. But that's it, I think. So it's not like you're really missing out on much, dude. You'll get back on the game, we'll replay the first mission, and that's it. Stream, see you around, stop by if you want. Yeah, I'll definitely stop by. Yeah, you have a good stream. I hope you have a good stream. See you later. That also is gonna be my cue to head out. So I will see all of you later. Bye-bye!